Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Raisa Giwala, the divorced Muslimah coach. And today we are on to video number 17. And what I want to talk about today is healing. And since we've been covering a little bit about where do our feelings come from, they come from thought in the moment, right? So what I want to talk about is healing and what happens with our emotions and how we are told to or suggested by society to suppress rather than to feel our emotions and feel the feelings through, right? Because, how many times have we heard, oh, give it some time, why don't you go away or focus on this, do something else, find a distraction. Well, we know that doesn't really work because our feelings are coming from thought in the moment. That's what's creating our feelings. So Allah created us to feel whatever it is, anger, sadness, happiness, joy, excitement, frustration, all of that. But how many times do we try to avoid the feelings of uncomfort, avoid the hurt, the pain, the sadness, the disappointment, all of that, right? And what do? Our subconscious way of addressing this is really to escape procrastination, Netflix binging, watching media, partying, whatever it is, going and doing something else when you know you need to be doing something else at the moment. So, and why do we procrastinate? We procrastinate so we avoid feeling the feelings that are coming up. You have to be really, really conscious of what you're feeling because most of our thinking happens at the subconscious level. So all we know is the feeling that it produces. We don't know where it's coming from, and the less conscious the more you're not used to this, the more you're like, okay, I'm feeling nervous and I just want to escape, but you're not recognizing where it's coming from and or what's coming up for you. You just know that it feels uncomfortable. Maybe it's a knot in your stomach, or maybe it's a headache, or maybe it's just like a little bit of anxiety, or maybe it's panic. So you want to avoid that feeling because we don't want to feel uncomfortable, right? It's almost like being afraid of this feeling because it can overtake you. It can, give you a headache. It can kind of panic you or make you feel insecure. For me, many times it's happened as I've gone through my own journey and recognized, periods of time where I was procrastinating, and as I developed more self-awareness, I would recognize, okay, well, I'm just gonna go and take a bite of this chocolate rather than write this paper or rather than make this video. And when I had more self-awareness into myself, I could recognize that I had some subconscious thinking about my results or my outcome or how this would be perceived, and that was making me avoid it from fear of judgment. But I didn't always have that. That wasn't there for me until I had a lot more self-awareness. So, keeping busy is not the answer to avoid feeling the feeling that's coming up. And focusing on anything else that will avoid us from being uncomfortable. We're all created as human beings to feel these feelings, to go through. And when we can accept, this way it's so much less scarier because we know that our feeling is coming from thought in the moment, and it's not that paper or that judgment or the outcome or that person that is causing us to feel this way. So we don't need to escape, we don't need to avoid. Just having that awareness, that heightened awareness, where is this coming from? It's coming from my thought in the moment, how I'm thinking about it, whether it's conscious or subconscious. Now, most of the times it's subconscious. That's why we're not recognizing or realizing what it exactly is that's happening. So, whatever you're feeling, bliss, excitement, happiness, joy, defeat, hurt, pain, the goal is not to only feel the good. We're like, everyone's chasing this high of happiness and positivity. Well, we are human. That means that we're not just positivity. We feel pain, we feel hurt, we feel anxious. Those feelings are normal because they're coming from our thought in the moment, and it's just an indicator of how we are thinking in the moment, what our thoughts are in the moment. And so when we understand where they're coming from, we don't need to be afraid of it. We don't need to avoid it. We accept it. It comes in and then it goes. It's like, clouds passing in the sky. It comes and it goes, and it doesn't have any power over us, to make us feel a certain way. So we don't have to avoid it. And all of this comes from the inside out paradigm understanding. So there is a way to experience all of the array of emotions and feelings without letting us overtake us, and without letting us without letting it define us, right? Regardless of what situation you're in, what you're experiencing, who's doing what. You're not dependent or a victim of anything or anyone. And in our previous, videos, we talked about who has the power. No one or nothing has the power to make you feel a certain way, or to control your situation. The thought is our direct connection to Allah. And our feelings are coming from Allah via thought in the moment. The thought comes and it's completely neutral, but how we, the life that we give to it, the meaning that we give to it, how we think about it, how we interpret it comes from within us, what's inside of us. Right? So nothing has power over you, whether it's divorce, whether it's death, whether it's custody of your children, whether it's an illness. None of that has the power to make you feel any certain way, to make you feel a certain way. Yes, you will feel. And you can have this peaceful sadness because you know where it's coming from. It can't do anything to you, can't harm you, can't help you or hurt you. So really allowing the feeling to pass, when you recognize where it's coming from, you can remain a lot more neutral. And it's also normal to know that, to not see it, because the fact is, this is how we work, that our feelings are, and our experience of life, or how we're experiencing life, is being created moment by moment by our thought in the moment, how we're thinking about it. So when you understand that, we're not suffering, right? We feel hurt, we feel sad, but the feeling comes and then it goes, because it's coming just from thought. It's not anything that can hurt us. So there's no suffering in feeling the feelings that we're feeling, because it's just our thinking. It's just an indicator of how we're thinking. We're going to be feeling our thinking. My message today really is to know that you can have a calm, neutral, peaceful pain, hurt, sadness, even going through the harshest conditions. For me, my point my point of transformation, or my period of devastation, was when I was going through my divorce. But a lot of people go through other experiences, a loss of a loved one, earthquakes, big things that cause devastation. Even there are some studies of people who survived the Holocaust. I forgot the guy's name, but he wrote this book on how his state of mind was not indicative or dependent on what was happening to him in the situation. So it is possible. And that's what I'm here to share with you today. So I want to ask you today and invite you to look into yourself and ask yourself, where is it that you are procrastinating? What is it about? Where do you find yourself avoiding and procrastinating when you know you need to be doing something, but you're avoiding it, or you're running away from it, right? Can you get conscious about that? When you want to just Netflix binge and be on the couch all day long, or go eat a whole bag of potato chips mindlessly. For me, it was like chocolate or ice cream, towards your escape. What are you avoiding, and what are you escaping? These are really powerful questions that allow us to have a greater view of ourselves, have more self-awareness. And when we have that, we transform and we change, because how we think is how we feel is how we act and behave, and respond with clarity, not reactively, not understanding subconsciously what's going on with us. So I'd love to hear your feedback and your insights. Talk to you soon. Take care. Peace and blessings.